Peace, 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 and welcome to another broadcast of Circle Ministry. And I'm your host, Rico Blakeney. And let me fix my camera. Welcome to another broadcast of Circle Ministry. Coming on tonight instead of tomorrow night. For like two reasons. I know everyone's gonna be busy tomorrow at the holidays. Even though me and my wife, we don't celebrate it, our kids and a lot of people in the world do too. So hope everyone have a great and safe time and can enjoy their family members or whatever they have planned for those days. But that's for one of the reasons I won't be. And the other reason is that I haven't been feeling good lately. I've had the flu, and actually today is the first day since Friday since I've been able to be somewhat mobile, able to sit in this chair or even come up with something outside of laying in the bed and taking my homemade medicines, my honey, ginger, garlic, oranges, and onions, and my mullein tea, and sweating a lot. And so cleaning myself up, making myself feel better. Seeing I did have 7 people on here at one time, so hopefully they'll come back if it's not nothing different. But I've been kind of like under the weather, so with that, I haven't been able to get on, but I've been wanting to get on since Friday. And so what I will be doing is bringing my face out a whole lot more. You're gonna see more live from me, more probably more shorts made out of my lives and stuff like that. I would prefer to go live than to post post videos, but that may be something else I have to step into in order to build my community and get out there into the algorithm world. So if you ever come on, I want you to like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you can get those. If you're new, just to help me out with my algorithm and help the videos get out and help YouTube push it, give me a heart, give me a 1 in the comment, give me a 2 in the comment, or give me a dot in the comment. If you don't want to state who you are, where you from, what your thoughts and your opinion about any of the messages or conversations that we have here, any of the teachings that we have here as well, feel free to do that. There won't be no criticizing. There won't be no negativity done. You can say what you want to, and you have the right to feel like you want to. And even on this channel, we allow you to freely express that, so that we can grow in the community. But hatred and energy that won't promote inner growth it won't be tolerated here. It's not about how you say it. So you know what I mean? You can say it however you want to. It's what you say and the intent of what you're saying. A lot of people used to say, it ain't what you said, it's how you said it. So, if the person receiving it can't take it how you said it, then that's not your problem. Because most of the time the truth brings offense. Some people are like, well, you're telling the truth, but you could have said it a different way. No, I couldn't have. And you know what I mean? So I understand that too. So, but if your truth is going to be hatred and it's going to be downplayed towards someone else, keep that hatred to yourself. And if you can separate it, then give your opinion, thoughts. And we look forward to that. Now, thank you for all the old people, old subscribers, the original people who have been here with me since I started. Sister Corinne is one, Brother C. King Bay, Lee Ken Apple, my wife as well. Those are the ones that I know that has been here from the beginning. All other subscribers, I may not know your name, but the one way to keep me in your mind is to comment. Catch my video, say hey, say hi, comment, give me your thoughts and opinion. You agree, you disagree, however, whatever. We're not looking to point anyone out or to take anyone's opinion and thoughts lightly and use it for a catapult. Everything will be for a learning experience with everything that we do here. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us today. Like I say, this is our virtual YouTube channel where we take things and put them up under the microscope. So what we're going to be putting up under the microscope today is popular sovereignty doctrine, and it's something else going on with the sovereignty doctrine that I've been on for the last 4 weeks or so, and And it's not just because um, well, the main reason for it, and not just the reason for the topic today, but the sovereignty talk or whatever, because there's a bunch of misinformation and a bunch of misinformation, a bunch of bullshit out there about it. You know, a lot of people out here are doing things that they have classified as sovereign citizen movement as being a bunch of people who took something offline, caught themselves in a bind in a situation, haven't studied or have no clue about any of the information they're talking about. It's brand new to them. So they're trying to memorize it like a damn Easter speech. I don't know if that's what y'all are familiar with, but down here in the South, in our churches, we was raised up with that. You had to do your Easter speech, your Father Day speech, not Father Day, you had your Easter speech and your Mother Day speech. I think you had a Father's Day speech. So in our churches, we did those. I can't say for every one of them, but at our home church, that's what those were the things that we done. So as you got older, you know, some of the smaller ones in the beginner classes, it might be for Easter. Um, you might start off with one they will call the beginner class or the primary class, where they first start to indoctrinate you and teach you about their beliefs, thoughts, and things of that nature. But anyway, you have something that we had one that was like birds and flowers were gay, Jesus rose on this Easter day. That was all they required you to do. And you got your candy bar, you know. And it might have been something real simple. It wasn't complex. It was something that a kid that age could learn, unless you was a little smarter. Or unless your parents were somebody in the church and they were gonna make sure that you were gonna look good, because you're not gonna make them look bad, and you're gonna be well known, well diverse, and able to say these bigger speeches because you're smarter than the rest of them. But as you got older, your speeches would get longer and longer and longer. But a lot of people get themselves in situations or find themselves in a situation looking for help. And the number one reason I believe I know in my heart that all these people are searching for this is for lack of finances. So I'm not going to blame it and beat up on people who got into this looking for a way out, or looking for, because that's the way the hell I got into it. Go for lack of finances. And want to be able to take care and represent and have some things take care of myself in a legal format, and couldn't hire no one to do it. Wouldn't want to take it. Couldn't find a lawyer to take that type of case or whatever. And then the ones that might have thought about it really wanted to be a open and shut case. They didn't want to have no work to do, and they was very expensive too. So it wasn't for me getting no ticket or me getting no trouble like a lot of people that gets into learning about the private, or when they find out about the straw man, or they begin to venture out and find out about more to the civics. Thank you, though, baby. I don't think I can stomach it. But they get into different avenues of a lot of processes out here. The right to travel, they get into some doctrine about that shit, run across that, and believe that they have the right to travel. And like I say, they'll learn something, they try to memorize the speech before they get into the court from just listening. And a lot of times they can't afford to purchase the shit from the people that they're seeing it from on YouTube, like here, or whatever it may be. Um, but we are affordable here with certain things that we have to offer for your donations as well. So let me get that clarified as well. But the only thing I'm saying is, a lot of times if you're astute and you're smart enough, because I learned a lot about um, processes through various teachers, but I learned more by studying on certain stuff myself. Uh, First, learn a little bit more about the Constitution, and actually reading it and learning it and studying it, and studying my state laws and constitutions, and going back to the older constitutions of my state from the 1800s, stuff like that, and having a little bit of knowledge and ability for the guy in me to be able to search out other things, and so I could see the end results in some processes. But a lot of them wasn't upfront and obvious. You have to get involved into the process and get into the learning of it to find out this shit don't work. So I'm staying on subject, but before we get there, I want you to remember too, anytime you're out here, if anybody's listening and you're going to get yourself caught out here to be publicized and picked on by calling you a sorry citizen fail and have you on the damn internet, because they will not put anyone that is a true sovereign that can come in and articulate themselves. You're not going to find that court case on video. You got to find case law to find some stuff. And then they're going to have it fixed out, whereas you will have to be astute enough to understand what that sovereign done to get it, because they won't be labeled as sovereign. But anyway, that's what all the teaching is about. And we'll come back to that as well. But a lot of people get in this information, they're in trouble. They're through tickets, through foreclosure, through debt collections. So they want to know how to stop the creditor, how to become the secured party creditor, how you can negotiate these bonds, how you can make these money orders out of coupons, which is another mixed language of a fucking receipt that you're gonna get showing that you owe. They've given you a bill of exchange, or they're giving you something like a bill of exchange because it has an order on it, and the order to pay a time and a date. They give you all the instructions of when, where, and how to pay this thing. It's not for you to sign it over and tell them that it's paid. But anyway, you learn this, you go out here and you try to memorize it, and then you'll find out that it only perpetuates the stigma of what they want to call a sovereign citizen. And a lot of ways they throw a lot of things out of court with individuals is labeling it sovereign citizen idolatry or methodology and all this other BS. And so that way they have it, whereas now they can just throw the whole case out. Even if you was right, you could have won. And probably could have. But anyway, I'm just saying, understanding this, you can delineate and be able to help see yourself and maybe deter about how you operate and really understand what sovereignty is, so as you can operate in your proper manner and operate in your God-given right and express your God-given authority upon the earth. So thy will be done upon the earth as it is in heaven. So as the way you think and you thought and you've had plans and desires for your life and for your family and for the prosperity of your family to attain and to have these things, that will take place into the lands, into the earth as it is in the heavens. You have to handle yourself lawfully and honorably as a representative or ambassador of God, or as God upon the earth, God in the flesh. Okay, so understanding that and your sovereignty. So we'll get into the doctrine there. I know I carried you around the world, but everybody that's here with me, they know me, and they was able to travel with me. And for those that are new, you'll be able to travel if you watch and just slow down. But understanding your sovereignty, and that whenever I got into everything, I read everything that the government said about sovereign citizens. That was the first place I started studying, to be honest. When I started to get into all of this stuff and learning into this information, I started off with the secured party process. That's the first thing I heard about, the secured party / creditor, being a secured party and taking control over the straw man, putting a lien on it, locking him up, and then building a whole nother life in a whole nother entity, dealing a whole nother piece to play on the monopoly game of commerce. Instead of using their game board piece, I took their game board piece. I'm just saying in theory, this is what I was learning, and some things that was taught. So this is how I got into all the information from this standpoint. So then it branches out to a bunch more other things, which, like I say, that normally happens. But secure party creditor, you're not the debtor, you're the creditor. There's nothing that's created throughout the system without your signature. You are the sovereign. There's nothing that can be attained without your signature. It's got to be accompanied with your promise to pay, though, or some kind of contractual obligation on your part and their part. So if you're going to buy a house, your signature is needed. That promissory note that is in there, or the notes, which becomes a promissory note later on, that's transferred and securitized and pooled and sold and on the stock market and changed, and that's yada, 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 yada. That, excuse me, that that part you have to understand that this whole system is built off of now debt notes and debt instruments, which is a true philosophy, and this is true statements I'm making now. I'm just saying this is why I got my start early with the secured party creditor, and probably won't get too deep into that whole process and some of the things to watch out for or whatever. I'm just gonna give you some basic principles of what it matters about before we get into the popular sovereignty doctrine and a way to understand it and see it for what it's really worth and not what it's mainstream taught to be. But anyway, if you're the creditor and you're not the debtor. The debtor is the strong man. It is the entity, that pass through entity. It is also a what's the other word for it? It's like a pass through entity. It's like conduit. It's a conduit that they use to handle and do paper interactions with. It actually slips my mind, but it's a word there that what the strong man is. That's all he is. And so and understand that you are not the strong man, and that whenever they put a lien is a charge. Whenever they put a lien or a charge against the strong man, that's what they're doing. They're attaching it to that social security number that you have attached yourself to, or your parents attached you to through the birth certificate, etc., etc. But that accounting system is where everything, that's the serial number for the strong man. And once you do it, if you look at the signature line, it said it's authorized representative, and you're signing as the authorized representative for that straw man. You're taking legal ownership of that account, that actions, and anything else on there through their contract. So with that too, understand that through that contract, they're making you the trustee of that thing instead of them being the trustee as well. You know, just their account, they're making you the trustee. They're making you the responsible party, the authorized representative. So when anything happens along with that. Like say, if you own a company, and you're gonna have the authorized representative. So if you're gonna get sued, or if you need to take care of any legal paperwork or whatever, they got to come through the authorized representative. This is what papers have to be served on, however, whatever. But you're gonna have to have that. Secretary of State gonna make you get one anyway, called registered agents. Now some of the same shit. But anyway, excuse me. Understanding the difference between that, and when they do that, then you put the lien on the straw man. Now you've got a lien on the straw man, putting yourself first in line, first in time, if you've already been honorable in your dealing. So and then they talked about how you can discharge mortgages, you can discharge power bills, all through the straw man, off of that bond that's created off that lien with that straw man, etc., etc., etc. Or offset public obligation. But anyway, so that's where I got my start at. And start learning into this stuff. And there's a bunch of key principles and stuff that I learned. So it was 2 years before I started any actions on anything. I studied for 2 years. It's in the third year, right before the third year, when I actually started implementing things and putting things into play. And hey, I had a lot of failures, and I had enough successes. And then after that, I ran into other individuals and come across other individuals who was able to lead me down avenues of success as well. So that would be my thing about it. You have a public display of what they would call sovereignty, and a public mainstream taught narrative about sovereign citizens, and then you have the original. So it's like with everything we deal with into our system, you're going to have everything is copied. We're made in the likeness and image of God. We're copied. We're just able to embody the spirit of God and be the house and be that spirit of God in that likeness and image, and have the authority to act as God upon the earth or wherever we're at. We're able to be God wherever we're at, and we're called to be that. And if you listen to the Bible, in a sense, it tell you that you are a nationhood of priests. You are a bunch of God entities upon the earth, and to be a light amongst the world, to show the world that they all are God's. Understanding that sovereignty is what we got. And then in the public, when we deal with things, this sovereignty was created out of, from the people, till it became a collective, we the people. And then you have the body politics or governmental bodies and stuff like that. My body's cramping up, so y'all excuse me. And then you have your political all the way on up, right? So all of my copies, but when you're dealing with them, you need to know your originality. You need to know where you stand and where you at, so you won't get caught lost in the sauce and operate in a way that you've been taught there's only one way to operate. And there's more than one way to operate. There's been one way to talk. And if you read and study the way they're telling you that those that were put into the place to be our fiduciaries, our servants, and we're going to look at that. They're put there just for that. And understanding when they're shitting you or not. So me and my family, we have everything set up through trust and all these other things for our kids and everybody. So when it breaks down to it, what's up, big dog? When it breaks down to it, they read the trust indenture. They know the rules. They know the ingredients. They know what the whole thing is about. You got a package right there too, big dog. That's that other medicine. Appreciate it. Y'all guys, give me 1 second. I remember they were saying something they could, if I pause the live, I gotta go get some more of this medicine that I have for myself. That's a share screen. And I'm trying to say, how can I pause the live? Well, I can't figure out how to pause it. So you guys just hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, right there. Right there. Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 minute, guys. I don't really know how to pause it. I'm still here. I'm gonna see. One thing I never had to do is pause it. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take some of this yamming wood root stuff. So give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Thank you guys for waiting. Sorry about that. But yeah, so understanding where you at and dealing with your fiduciaries and all this other stuff, you can then understand your sovereignty, how you could properly operate and how you can benefit and stay where you're supposed to be. You can allow what is God's to remain with God, and whatever Caesar's, you render to Caesar. And outside of that, then you'll build your generational wealth for your family. You'll build the love, peace, and joy and happiness, and will be protected by those that are out there Okay. Well, I'm going to do some screen sharing. So when I do it, I didn't want to go through my software like I was using last time, using different software. I was using Zoom, but like I said, I wasn't feeling good enough to get down here to set up on, because it's a bunch of stuff in the background you have to do to get them to come across the work camera. So and there was some stuff that we talked about before on here, and so understanding that too about being that sovereign citizen, um, and where it resides at, and whenever the delegated powers were given to the government, whenever you know they're retaining the sovereignty from us, it's in the United States of America, um, and it's in the USA, United States of America, and Congress assembled. The complete name, or you know, so in that whole form of name, United States of America and Congress assembled, or short USA, the United States, all the states that are united in America, and then um, those people who are up under that confederacy or that understanding are known to be Americans, and in the landmass of the Americans. It is different from the national sovereignty that's given through the Constitution, or the power that's delegated to the Constitution to allow them to delegate one's citizenship for those that are naturalized or born. My understanding is it has nothing to do with the indigenous people of this land. That's still something to deal with the foreigners coming inside, but that's for another teaching and another breakdown. But understanding that up under the U.S. government, or the United States, it, is a difference. And so whenever you hear these things, you need to understand that one is a constitutional national government, and then the other one is the collectiveness, where the retention of the power is still invested into the people through the breakdown of the states before it becomes but inside of that is where you want to be in the United States of America, Congress Assembly, because it has a republic form of government. It has a sovereign form of government, where you think about it. And as you go through and look at the government today and the way things are working today, do we have a republic form of government? And I'm not talking about all this other BS I'm gonna shoot down later in the video. I'll show you some stuff. But do we have that? Or do we have a government that actually is running like a monarch? But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into some of these live streams. I know my screen's gonna go blank, so uh, uh I think this is where we'll start at. Okay. Um, and I can't spell it up no more here because I'm sharing it straight from the page. But if you're here, just know that everything we talk about here is for educational, spiritual, and somewhat entertainment purposes. It's not legal advice. If you think you need legal advice, you need to contact a lawyer or a legal representative. But we are self-educated people here, and we just educate you on things on certain